There's a lot more to do in Rome than just drool over ruins and stairs. So, in today's video, I'll be sharing a thorough roundup of things to do in this epic city, with honest opinions on what's worth it. In case you're new here, hi, I'm Christina from happytowander.com. And this channel is all about practical travel tips from someone who's been there and done that. So be sure to like and subscribe if that sounds like your kind of thing. And stick around until the end for a free map that plots all these activities along with recommendations for cafes and restaurants. Now, let's start with an important must-do before seeing the sights, and that's to gorge yourself on Roman dishes. Rome is responsible for some of the tastiest and most popular pasta dishes on the planet. So it makes sense that when in Rome, you need to slurp your way through them all with reckless abandon. Pasta carbonara is a popular one that is already globally famous, made with eggs, cheese, and cured pork. But other must-tries include cacio e pepe, which is made with cheese and pepper, pasta alla matriciana, which is made with tomato, cheese, and cured pork, and pasta alla gricia, which is made with cheese, black pepper, and cured pork. I know this all sounds very simple, but the beauty of Roman cuisine is in its simplicity. If you're looking for non-pasta dishes to try, artichokes, tripe, and oxtail are also very popular. As is the almighty trapezzino, a beloved Roman street food that combines pizza and sandwiches for a thrilling triangular result that is perfect as a quick bite on the go. And of course, there's plenty of great coffee and gelato to enjoy as well, along with plenty of rooftop bars where you can soak in the sights from a unique vantage point. Now, on that note, let's move on to the main attractions and sights, starting with the top must-do, which is to tour the Colosseum. Possibly the most famous monument in Rome, the Roman Colosseum is the largest standing amphitheater in the world, dating back almost 2,000 years. For centuries, it was here that Rome's infamous gladiator fights and animal hunts took place, often to crowds as large as 80,000. Today, it can receive up to 30,000 visitors a day, making it one of the most visited monuments in the entire world, which is why you should 100% make sure you get tickets in advance or even book an after-hours tour for a unique, less crowded experience. I can definitely recommend paying extra to tour the underground arena bit, which only opened to the public a few years ago. It really does help you understand how the arena would have worked and operated back in the day. Now, next on our list of Rome must-dos is to see the Roman Forum and Palatine Hill. A visit here is included in the ticket you buy for the Colosseum, so you might as well. Along the epicenter of commercial and government activity in ancient Rome, this multi-purpose space would have been used for countless aspects of daily life, from elections and social gatherings to religious ceremonies and criminal trials. To be honest, this is a space that can be tough to appreciate without the help of a guide, since these days you're mainly looking at ruins with minimal signage. So consider reading up on the history of the space in advance, or potentially hiring a tour guide to help you get some much needed context. Close to here, you'll find another wonder of ancient Rome, Trajan's Market, an impressive 2nd century complex spanning 6 stories and over 150 rooms, considered to be the world's first ever shopping mall. Besides cool ruins, the site is also home to the Museum of the Imperial Forums, where you can learn more about the forums that once occupied this space. Another highlight here is the almost 2,000-year-old Trajan's Column, whose impressive details actually tell the epic story of Emperor Trajan's victory in the 2nd century Dacian Wars, a victory so huge they apparently partied for 123 days after. Now, next on our ancient Rome hit list is to visit the Pantheon. Of all the buildings that remain from ancient Rome, the Pantheon is by far the best preserved, dazzling visitors even 2,000 years after it was originally constructed. And there's a lot of reasons to visit. After all, the Pantheon houses tombs for some of Rome's most famous figures, including Italy's first king, King Vittorio Emanuele II, and Ninja Turtle namesake, the famous painter Raphael. It's also home to the largest unsupported concrete dome in the world, weighing in at a shocking 4,535 tons. This is definitely one of the most incredible places to visit in Rome, so make sure you add it to your list. And if you're not tired of ancient Rome quite yet, then be sure to check out the city's less famous ruins. While not as epic and well known as some of the sites mentioned above, some other ancient Roman sites to visit include the Circus Maximus, where chariot races once took place, as well as the Terme di Caracalla, once among the largest public baths in Rome, and today open to the public for visits, which includes a virtual guide that helps you visualize what the complex would have looked like back in the day. There's also the cat sanctuary built on the site of where Caesar was murdered, over in the Largo di Torre Argentina, set among an ensemble of modern shops, cafes, and restaurants. As well as maybe my personal favorite, a McDonald's with its own piece of Roman wall, located inside Rome's Termini station of all places. This is possibly the only place in the world you can wolf down McNuggets while sitting next to a 2,500-year-old chunk of Roman wall. So definitely worth checking out, if even just for a quick peek. Now, leaving ancient Rome behind, it's time to tackle another one of Rome's top must-dos, commonly considered to be a disappointing one, and that's to admire Piazza di Spagna and its Spanish Steps. As one of the most famous sites in Rome, many visitors are surprised to see they are indeed just 135 photogenic steps, and not much else. But in their defense, they are iconic, so worth a quick look. Just beware that they're always very packed with people, so coming early in the morning or late at night is the only way to really appreciate them properly. By the way, know that you also can't sit or eat on them, as many whistle-armed guards will remind you. Now, speaking of overcrowded places you should visit early in the morning, another Rome must-do is the Trevi Fountain, perhaps one of the most famous fountains in the entire world. At 65 feet wide, this monumental fountain is best known for its impressive marble sculptures and, of course, its dreamy blue hues. These days, millions of tourists come for a chance every year to ogle the fountain and partake in the classic tourist ritual of throwing a coin or three over their left shoulder, the first to ensure a return to Rome, the second for romance, and the third for marriage. It is a beautiful fountain, but always swarming with people, so again, plan accordingly. From the Trevi Fountain, it's only a 2-minute walk over to one of the prettiest hidden courtyards in Rome, Galleria Sciarra. This unassuming walkway, tucked behind a McDonald's no less, is a lovely hidden gem full of beautiful frescoes and artwork to admire, with a gorgeous glass and iron ceiling that makes the space feel impossibly grand, especially when you consider that it's simply home to offices these days. Now, next on our list is to pay a visit to Piazza del Popolo. Translated as the People's Square, Piazza del Popolo is considered one of Rome's most important and aesthetically pleasing squares, housing a number of attractions including the Leonardo da Vinci Museum and several churches. Another must-see square in Rome is the Baroque masterpiece known as Piazza Navona, with a unique oblong shape thanks to its history as the former site of Domitian Stadium, which was built back in the 1st century to introduce Greek-style athletics to the Roman public, whose main source of entertainment at the time was pretty much just watching slaves murder each other with cameos from lions, tigers, and bears. Unfortunately, Romans far preferred their gladiator games, so the stadium fell into disuse over the years, eventually being transformed in the 17th century into a gorgeous Baroque piazza. Another must-see for history lovers in the city is Castel Sant'Angelo. Few monuments in Rome have evolved with the city's history and power struggles as much as this one, which has been around since the 2nd century. Originally built as a mausoleum for Emperor Hadrian, it was later converted into a castle by the popes, who, from the 14th century onwards, began to add their own little flourishes like chapels and statues to glam up the place to their liking. Luckily, they got a lot of use out of it. Not only has Castel Sant'Angelo been a fortress and safe haven over the years, it has also been used as a prison, and more recently, even a film set, where it starred as a key location in Angels and Demons, as well as Eat, Pray, Love. Now, next on our list is to see the Vittoriano, also known as the Altar of the Fatherland, or more whimsically, the wedding cake or typewriter. This pristine marble monument was constructed in the late 19th century to commemorate Vittorio Emanuele II, the first king of a unified Italy. It was officially inaugurated in 1911, 40 years after unification, with a design inspired by Hellenistic monuments like the Pergamon altar. Since 1921, the monument has also housed the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, a shrine dedicated to those who perished and sacrificed their lives during World War I. There's also some nice museums inside. This is definitely a monument worth checking out in Rome because it's completely free to visit, with only a small additional fee for the elevator ride up the terrace if you so choose. So be sure to check it out. Now let's move on to one of the most popular Rome activities, and that's to visit Vatican City. Nestled within the heart of Rome, Vatican City stands as the world's smallest independent state, as well as headquarters of the Roman Catholic Church. This microstate is home to the Pope and several points of interest, including the largest church in the world, St. Peter's Basilica, with a dome that reaches just under 450 feet. This is truly one of the most stunning churches in the world, filled with ornate details and magnificent works of art, as well as an excellent view at the top if you can brave the climb. If you can time your visit to coincide with the hourly mark, you'll also get to hear the church bells ring from Rome's hundreds of churches at the same time, which is a pretty special experience. Granted, it does get very narrow at the top, and there's a lot of steps, so don't attempt it unless you're reasonably fit. From this view, you get a great look over St. Peter's Square, where you'll be greeted by the monumental obelisk and surrounded by elegant colonnades designed by Bernini. This square is where the papal audience is held at certain times of the week, and today mainly just a spot for photos and lining up to get into St. Peter's. Beware that lines can get very long here, so I'd plan to visit first thing in the morning, and don't forget about the strict dress code as well, which requires you to have both knees and shoulders covered. The other main attraction here in Vatican City are the Vatican Museums, which house an unparalleled collection of art and historical treasures, including the world-famous Sistine Chapel. I'll be honest though, this museum, while stunning, is almost always packed to the brim with people, so much that you aren't really able to appreciate the pieces at all, and are instead herded around like cattle, especially in the Sistine Chapel where they constantly shush you with no mercy. With peak season crowds, it's really not the best use of time in my opinion, unless you are really interested in art. There's also the Vatican Gardens, a tranquil oasis within this bustling city-state, as well as an admittedly cheesier stop, the post office, where you can send a postcard through Vatican City's own postal service with its own unique stamps. Just make sure you don't forget a pen. Now, having discussed St. Peter's, the largest church in the world, now feels like a good time to mention another Rome activity, which is to explore some of Rome's 900+ churches. Yes, there really are that many, which explains why we don't really have time to name them all. My honest recommendation is to just wander around and have a look inside churches that catch your interest, so that way you can find your own hidden gems. But here are a few unique churches to add to your list that I think are really cool. Firstly, there's the Chiesa di Sant'Ignazio de Loyola, which is home to incredible frescoes that offer a cool and unique optical illusion, as well as the Basilica di Sant'Andrea della Valle, known for its massive dome and also amazing frescoes. For those looking for a darker experience, there's also the Santa Maria della Concezione dei Cappuccini, known for its Capuchin crypt, which is filled with chapels artfully decorated with bones, and the Basilica of Santa Maria in Cosmedin, another popular one thanks to some unique features like the skull of Saint Valentine, and also the famous Bocca della Verità, an ancient marble mask said to bite the hands of liars. To be honest, this mask isn't anything super remarkable, especially given there's almost always a long lineup to take a photo with it, so I wouldn't necessarily go out of my way to see it. The church, though, is pretty cool. Now, one place I would go out of my way to see, though, is the amazing Villa Borghese, one of Rome's prettiest and largest public parks, and also home to a number of villas and museums, including the Galleria Borghese, one of Rome's most famous art galleries with an impressive collection spread across 20 rooms and 2 floors. Another highlight of the park is a quick but affordable rowboat paddle. Though be warned that the lake is 100% filled with other tourists who have no idea how to row boats, so the experience is less The Notebook and more like an on-water edition of bumper cars. Lastly, while here, don't forget to soak in the beautiful views from Terrazzo del Pincio. This is one of the best panoramic views in the city, and a great place to get your bearings when in town. It's also a highly popular sunset spot, so you might want to consider coming back later with a bottle of wine in hand. Speaking of great views, you should also make sure to visit the Giardino degli Aranci, also known as Parco Savello. This leafy garden on Aventine Hill is lined with its namesake orange trees, with a gorgeous panoramic view over the city, especially at sunset. This is a great place to relax and take in the views. Plus, very close to here is the Buco della Serratura dell'Ordine di Malta, aka Rome's Keyhole, a popular photo op with a unique view of St. Peter's Basilica that you can access through a keyhole, which is perfectly framed by hedges to create a surreal and dreamy postcard view. Though be warned, it's actually pretty tough to photograph. Of course, with Rome famously built on 7 hills, there are many other great spots to enjoy a view in the city, including Gianicolo, just south of the Vatican, which has its own beautiful monumental fountain. Now, up until now, we've discussed a lot of big sights to see, but it's important to note that another fun Rome must-do is to visit one of the city's many museums. Some of the most popular ones include the Musei Capitolini, which are considered the oldest public museums in the world. There's also the stunning Borghese Gallery, as previously mentioned, and the Palazzo Doria Pamphili, which is home to an elegant art museum, as well as many, many others. So if you're looking for more things to do in Rome, especially on a rainy day, be sure to add museum hopping to your list. Finally, it has to be said that Rome is an amazing city, and while most visitors will spend their time exploring the most central and touristic parts, there are tons of gorgeous neighborhoods beloved by the millions of Romans who call it home. So, if time allows, be sure to check out some more neighborhoods outside of the central core. Some nice neighborhoods to explore include the Trastevere neighborhood, home to tons of beautiful streets and restaurants, the unique Quartiere Copede, which is tucked away in the Trieste district with a mishmash of varying architectural styles, and Testaccio, home to Rome's last remaining pyramid. Now, finally, if you're up for a cool day trip, Rome does have quite a few options as well. While most companies will try to sell you on a really long day trip to Pompeii or to the Amalfi Coast, my personal pick would be something closer, like Tivoli, which is home to a few elegant villas and magnificent views that you can reach in as quickly as 40 minutes. There's also many cool sites closer to the city, including catacombs, the Appian Way, also known as Europe's longest straight road, and more relics of ancient Rome, like aqueducts. Now, while this video has only just scraped the surface of what to do in Rome, I do hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to check out this link for a free map of all the places I mentioned, and like and subscribe for more practical travel videos just like this one. I'll see you guys next week. Bye!